Hello, everyone. Let me know if you're there. This is an impromptu stream. I just thought I want to show a few things while I'm here. If you're there, cool. Let me know. I just want to show the Infidel featuring Pigman number one. This is my literal final copy. It's, I think someone had it on their list. They ordered a little while back, so I offered to them and I said I can give them issue 3 digitally because that's all I have. But I just wanted to show this. This is what my relaunch will have, this issue and also issue 2. I just want to give you a little taste of what my Pigman work looks like and the way it transitions from the Frank Warner world with the gutters. If you notice, they're open gutters like classic comics, and then the Killian world where you have the black gutters between the panels, just to show the contrast. And those who may not know, I inked all of the Pigman pages with a brush. If you see here, you can see a little thicker line brush, and then I inked all of the Killian pages with a pen. So check it out. Those who have it, cool. But this I will reevaluate. I will have a remastered edition, I guess that's the term I'm using for now, of my Pigman comic. It'll be something that is issue 1 and 2 put together, but of course with a little more different transitions, maybe different line work. I might change some panels, some writing, just to improve it. I want to have a special, I guess it'll be a special edition, but it'll be called, for the first time, it'll be called Pigman number 1. Not the Infidel featuring Pigman. It'll be called Pigman number 1. And here's when you first hits the page, the first image of Pigman. If you see there. I guess I can do this a different way, but for now, I just want to show it this way. I'll figure this whole thing out in terms of the camera placement and sending the video from here to my phone to give you a better look. But this is the Pigman, and you see him first as a silhouette. And if you notice this page, I showed this page off, I think, on Trashcast a little while back, or at least Ethan's channel. I don't know if it was Trashcast that night, but if you notice this page here, it's an X there. How can I do that? Basically there and there. It's an X, right? If you look at it, the bad guys are big, Pigman's small, and the bigger he gets, the smaller they get. That was the thinking I had. The closer he gets, the smaller they get. Of course, it's just a matter of perspective, but also for the story-wise, I want to see them get smaller and smaller and smaller where they're running scared. Hello, John. Glad you're here. I just want to show off a few of my comics, the interiors, which some of you haven't seen. And here he is doing his dirty work. I mean, this is necessary work. Put these mad dogs down, do to them as they do to others, but with righteousness, unlike their evil. And here's a shot also of Pigman just running down the tunnel, Al Qaeda tunnels. Good evening, Lux. So I just want to get you to take a look at my Pigman comic. You know what? Let me show you something quick. I may not have shown you guys here, actually. I just want to mention that I'm, hey, Scorpio. Hey, Immoral Fat 40 Ounce. Just want to pop in for a few and just show you some of my interior art to my comics. And also, you guys will get the first look. Here's a first look at one of my designs for my Pigman cover, for my relaunch. Here's one of the cover designs. I'm still going at it. I'm still going to perfect it, but this is basically what the gist of what one of them will be. And crushing these guys left and right. It's more like a comic book style cover, and then one will be like a cover of the twin brothers, and their shadows go up against a wall, and the shadows become Pigman and Super Jihad, Killian and Salam, the twin brothers. So yeah, this is just a first look, guys. This is the third try I think I had at this cover. I'm starting to get the idea that I think this is gonna work out pretty well when it's all inked and colored and with the cover. So that'll be one of the covers, and I have two other ones. And so yeah, so if you haven't seen my Pigman comic, I'm going to show a few pages here and there. Here's the opening with Frank Warner and Dr. Muhammad. Ends up being Dr. Muhammad. A few pages here. This is Killian, my stand-in, who's the ex-Muslim like me, Albanian parents, born in New York. And this is him confronting this group called Your Muslim Friends. Like CARE, you know. A very friendly name, right? A very friendly name, Your Muslim Friends. And they're giving away free Qurans. And the first thing that Killian says, first of all, after he calls them, because one of the guy calls this woman who's just passing by a whore. And then he says, hey, ladies. And they, of course, get very defensive. And he tells the guy, he goes, a free Quran, huh? He goes, but that would make it a gift. And the gift has to have at least some value. So, you know, he knows his stuff, and he's going to call them out, and it's fun. So this is my, and you know what, Dan Lawless asked me if I colored the Infinite. I said, yeah, and he liked it, which is really high praise coming from him, because he's a great artist and great colorist. And yeah, so I did color the entire series. As far as the look, I think I've come across color theory. I've read some stuff on it, but I'm not really advanced. But you know, I just wanted to basically lay it all down. I just wanted to do all that. So here's a little look at it. I have the color, the splash of red here and there, just to make it a little more dramatic. Some of the conversation here. This one's pretty funny, I think. Yes, Scorpio. Yes, I do all the interiors. I red pencil, ink, letter, color, publish, ship out. You know what I mean? I do it all. And in issue 1, I hand lettered. By issue 3, I was digitally lettering, but I do color it through digital as well. Here's one exchange though, which I think is pretty funny. It's Killian and his Muslim friend Mehmet. Not Mehmet. Ahmed, excuse me. Mehmet is actually Killian's name. That's his given name. Anyway, so he's talking to him, and he says something funny here. He goes, Ahmed says, I don't think you're suicidal, but your work really gives me pause. He goes, oh, so you do understand Islam. He goes, this is serious, Killian. He goes, Killian tells me, he goes, very serious. He goes, deadly serious, apparently. One second, guys. I think I'm better off doing this. So Killian says, deadly serious, apparently. If you can't stand Pigman, imagine what true Muslims feel. And he goes, I am a true Muslim. He goes, really? He goes, you do know that behind Islam's hatred of women is a love of men, which makes Islam pretty gay. He goes, Killian, what am I supposed to say or something like that? He goes, nothing. You're supposed to do something about it, like any true Muslim would. Basically, he's testing him. He's testing his old friend to say, look, man, are you serious or are you not? You know, it's like, you want to maintain friendship with me, and that's fine. You know, you're a good person, I know, but I know your religion far better than you do. So they get in these debates, and then he ends up on television, on Ox News with Bo Riley, and it's some fun stuff. And then this is the first time Pigman hits the scene, and they call him the Beast by this point. They don't want to say the word pig, not even in Arabic. And this is when he comes face to face with the mad dog, Osama bin Laden. I don't want to show too much, but I just want to give you a little taste of the interiors. And if you don't know, this is Pigman's chest symbol, and I give the meaning of it here. if you understand this, it's the Twin Towers, right? September 11. September 11, right? Number 11. And also 9/11. And the dents there are to recognize the two hits that basically it got hit twice in 1993 for the first time ever. 6 people died that day when they first tried to bring down towers, and the bastard didn't do it. And the American government wasn't smart enough to say, okay, these guys really want to, take this building out when they have extra precautions. They didn't. Anyway, so it's September 11, 9/11, right? Also, he's a capitalist pig, $, and the classic S, Superman. That's the idea behind it. And if you don't know this also, I got some really nice blurbs here from Alex Toth. The great Alex Toth. He said that about my first book. And then he said, and then I got some Daniel Greenfield, who I used to do cartoons for. Great writer. I did, I'll show you Mike Hunt in 1 second. Also Jim Shooter. The great Jim Shooter. He said, well done, provocative, not politically correct, you've got skills. And that's big time. That's big time. I was also Chuck Dixon, James Hudnall. But Jim Shooter. So yeah, let me show you quick. Mike Hunt is talking. Frank is getting in an argument with his friend, and all of a sudden, Frank looks. He hears something. They're on a rooftop, and I made the plane black, like it's a bat out of hell, like it's something. It's not just a plane at this point. It's an evil thing taking over. And I thought that was effective, making a near silhouette, but if you look close, the fine ink brush lines are in there, like it's speeding the hell out of there. And then it hits. And then here, these panels here represent the Twin Towers, with the whole crowd looking. Let me get to some comments here. Also, Table for One, which is no longer in print. I got one last damaged copy left. But this is 21 years ago now, crazy. 21 years ago, I released this. Amazing. And again, I got Dennis Kitchen, the great Dennis Kitchen, had some nice stuff to say about it. Joe Zabel had some real good stuff to say about it. And I just want to give you a little taste of what the interiors look like. Because you guys maybe have seen some of my art on Trashcast and on the auction streams, but I don't think some of you have seen this. I deliberately did like a gray wash based on my love of those old EC creepy comics that Alex Toth did. From Steve Ditko to Alex Toth to some of ours, they had that beautiful gray wash. So I said, you know what, I want that look. I want that look for this book. It wasn't a matter of color wise; it would be more expensive. I just wanted the look. There's one scene here actually where it takes place a little after 9/11, and there's a whole, a massive conversations happening, all different types, but some of them hitting on 9/11. Some of them are pretty, I think are pretty funny. But you tell me, like this one guy is like, my son comes home from college and tells me he's a pacifist now, so I decide to put him to the test. I slap him in the face, and before I know it, he knocks me out cold. Thank God. She's like, check please. And this old lady says to her dinner mate, now she's content being a common waitress in a goddamn restaurant. The guy's like, he's embarrassed. He goes, I'm sorry, sir. Please don't take it personally. He goes, no problem. I'm not a waitress. And then this guy here says, he's asked by this woman, what motivates me? Fear. Fear of being mediocre. She goes, you must be scared shit. Oh, come on, I'm joking. So, it's just fun stuff like that. Things that I think put in my notebooks over the years. Funny exchanges that I liked and made up. So yeah, I'm just going to read some stuff. Hello, John. Evening, Lux. Hey, Moral Fat 40 Ounce. Scorpio. I guess Scorpio. Evening. Pig. Fist. And you do all your interiors? Yes, I do. Clever. I think about the symbol. These books are great. Thanks, John. John writes, these books are great. Excellent story. Can't wait to see what happens after issue 3. You left me on a bit of a cliffhanger. Yeah, no doubt about it. It's a big one, to the point where people don't even think that there will be an issue after issue 4. But issue 3 will now, the old issue 3 will now be issue 2 of my relaunch of Pigman. So again, for the first time ever, my comic book will be called Pigman. It won't be called The Infinite featuring Pigman, which is the way it was for years, for the last 15 years actually. It won't be called that anymore. It'll be just Pigman. And everything, I'm just trying to revisit it. What can I do to improve it? What can I do to combine issue 1 and 2 better? What can I do to have just a better series, a better quality? Just look at it years later, look at it with fresh eyes. We shall see. But yeah, so issue 1 of Pigman now will be issue 1 and 2 of the old series, combined with extra moments, extra scenes, different transitions here and there, and maybe some slight rewrites to improve it. Even though it was the best I could do at that time, that was it. I was giving my all. But yeah, I'm going to look at it and see what I can do to make it better. So thanks, John. Thanks for getting them. Thanks for reading them, and I'm glad you like it. Mike Hunt, Tower 7. I thought you meant Tower. Yeah, you know what? You think about Tower 7 and others like you. I don't buy into that bullshit. I think it's absolute. It's insanity, because when you guys talk about Tower 7, you're trying to put doubt on the entire thing, that it was Islamic terrorists, right, and all that. And then explain to me the 46,000 Islamic terrorist attacks since 9/11. That's the biggest hole you guys have. If you're one of those conspiracy theorists who pull that bullshit, who try to diminish the seriousness of the day also by saying, "Oh, it's just the government doing their thing." So yeah, you can spread that bullshit, but do it elsewhere. To me, it's such a horrific day that the idea that our government let it happen, was behind it. Look, our government's corrupt, yes. But to that extent, at least back then, now, who knows? I'm not saying with Trump, but I mean those who just in there. Immoral Fat 40 Ounce says, I had just gotten around to book 3 and I saw that there's a hook for book 4 in the back. I didn't know it was meant to continue. Pleasantly surprised. Absolutely, yeah. I'm glad you thought that, because again, that could be the end for both Killian's and Frank's story. The way I left it could be the end, but we'll see how it goes. SXS says, looks cool. When are you launching Pigman on FMC? Very soon. I've had a little glitch in there, if that's the word. I've been wanting to do it since it's December, and I've been hearing stuff from some of the kings. I think Ethan, January, February are terrible months for business in general. Plus I'm working on the other project. I'm doing a number of pages. I'm up to 190 now, actually, on the other book that I'm doing. The slight secret book that's not quite secret, but I don't mention too much. You guys will hear about it one day. But yeah, so I don't know, but I'm thinking at the end of the month or next month. I think next month might be at the end of next month, maybe. Because again, I want to get these covers right. And if you missed it, guys, those who haven't seen it, check it out. This is the pencils to one of the covers, one of the 3 covers at least that I'll be doing for Pigman. Enemy's getting it in a pretty dramatic way. Mike Hunt says, remember when Tom Clancy was talking about giving up civil rights on TV, and then at that moment the report came in about Tower 7? It's really not hard to be sucked into conspiracies. It's really hard not to be. Yeah, I think it's just stupid though, that particular one, because it's like there were horrific things that happened that day. Towers went down. Maybe the structure of Building 7 as whatever they want to try to suggest it is. I think the reason why they bring it up is to try to diminish that it's a horrific attack on America, and instead it was an American attack on America, the American government. Again, our government's corrupt. But who in our government do you think is going to fly planes into the towers? Who? they do it for the secular power. They want power here and now. The other bastards want to fly right into paradise. SXS says, love the style and use of blacks. Thank you. Yeah, tip of one. I definitely laid it on heavy with the blacks. I love that balance of black and white. I just love it. It's very important to the eye. It really, really is. It's especially black and white. I mean, you want to, you're not having colors. Excuse me. You're not having colors, so you have to use black and white. And then there was a flashback here that went all black and white, pure black and white, unlike the rest of the comic. And if you don't know, also, I would recommend that you look at my video on it. It's after 20 years, I revealed the truth about this aspect of my comic, where there's a character called Kripnik Shvagula, and he has on his, he looks like a grease pit, right? It's so greasy, his hair. If you look at it though, it's a profile of lips kissing ass. He's an ass kisser. And when he's in the act, it's actual, you can see it. And it's repeated throughout the book. And it changes forms when he's looking at when he's looking at a woman, a certain thing about a woman, it changes the form, and so on. SXS says you should have Aaron or Graham on. They love that old EC stuff. Yeah. Again, I'm happy to be part of the Kings, proud of it actually, and I'm honored. At the same time, I don't want to put any pressure on these guys to be associated with me directly or one-on-one. If they're up to it, absolutely. At the same time, I'm like, I bring some kind of heat that they might not want to be part of, and I wouldn't blame them. It's my choice I made years ago. They can choose to. Kings is one thing. You got all these guys on there, but one-on-one's a different story. But if they're up for it, sure, I'd love to talk about it, because I know that Graham talks well of Toth and Romita, and Mike says can't spell pacifist without fist, and indeed you can't. Jimmy the Lumberjack says Table for One is a beautiful work of art. You're right. If this was in color, the book would be different. Yeah, thanks, Jimmy. Appreciate that. I thought about at one point doing a 20th anniversary color, and I never felt motivated enough. I gotta say I did do a cover of it. You know what? I'm gonna try to send it to myself here, show it to you on the camera, on my phone right now, Jimmy, and some others. Let me just show you quick, because I was going to do a color edition that didn't come through. Could it be one day? Special edition, if there's interest, maybe. There'll have to be interest though. If there's not, But let's see if I can do this. One second, guys. Okay. Let me see if I can pull this up, flatten it out, and then make a small version of it. Okay. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to show you a little taste of what that could have looked like, at least from the cover aspect. 1 second. I have to flatten this. Okay. It's it's a different look, that's for sure. I think it's pretty cool. But let me just take a screenshot, put it on my phone, and just show you. Those who read it might get a kick out of it, of what could have been. But again, I just never felt quite right. It was a very clear decision why I wanted it to be black and white to begin with, and it just never, it was one of those plans that didn't quite hold. But I'm going to show you guys right now. Let me do this here. Let me send it to myself. That's the only way I know how to do it now. I got to figure all this out, guys. About screenshots and all this and getting things on my screen. I've had a real difficulty. But I think one day I'll get there. Okay. So let me just show you guys. If you're interested, take a look. Here it is. Okay. Let's see. Those who read Table for One, this is what it would have possibly looked like. Deluxe color edition. That would have been the idea. I would have kept William and Venna white, just pop, But William Howland on the cover color and red behind him. So yeah, that could have been interesting. I just never quite. I don't know. I thought about it, and as an option. I think I sent a feeler out there. I didn't get much feedback for it, so I figured maybe there's not enough interest. But let me just comment here, guys, quick. Just saying, yo Bosch, just saying. Mike Hunt says, I do think the World Trade Center was taken out by a bunch of pissed off Muslims. Pissed off Muslims? You can argue that, as in pissed off. By saying that, are you giving them credence as why they do what they did? These bastards do what they do regardless. It's like Osama bin Laden had two speeches. One for Americans in the West to try to say, oh, you guys did this, you guys did that, bitching and moaning like a rat, right? The other speeches in Arabic, he told the truth about this is an everlasting war against the non-Muslim world. It's not what we do. It's who we are and who we're not. We're not Muslim. So that's why. So it's not just that they're pissed off. They're dedicated rats to this. The CIA probably knew was it incompetence. Who knows? Look, our government, to some extent, knew that the enemy, they did know this for a number of years, that the enemy would try to use planes as missiles. They did know that. So, I'm not, I'll go to some extent with the idea that our government's corrupt. Of course they're corrupt. Also, they allowed this enemy to get away with 9/11. That kind of attack required whatever it took to stop them. And we didn't do that. We bombed some mountains in Afghanistan after Al-Qaeda left, retarded. And we had this decades war. First of all, we weren't fighting a war for 20 years. Like this idea, it's like the government gave war a bad name. Meaning this. You have a savage enemy who sneak attacks us, right? Look at the way Japan paid for that sneak attack, Pearl Harbor. That's the way you make the enemy pay. They'll never do it again. They're incapable of ever doing it again, ever. What you do is you do whatever it takes. That's it. So I can go on about that, but yeah, government's corrupt? Absolutely. They were involved with that? They were behind that? No. The enemy has their own motivation. It's a way for these rats to protect themselves. Those who create these conspiracy theories are a way for them not to condemn Islam because they're cowards. So like, what else could it be? Yeah, government. It's a gutless way to go about it. John says, other book you say? Yes, indeed. It's a book I've been working on for over 2 years now. It'll be 350 pages. And I'll be mentioning it and showing some stuff at a certain point. Yes. SXS, I'll be there to back it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And he goes, you should get Malin to do a cover. John has mentioned Pigman a couple times, and he mentioned that he would like to just draw Pigman and maybe send it my way. He goes, well, maybe Bosch wouldn't even want that. So I got the video from someone. They gave me a heads up, and I said, John, I would love to see it. So we will see. I couldn't make it on Kang's last night. I was going to, I just couldn't do it. But maybe I'd like to go to Kang's one time and just go back and forth and talk about it maybe. See, because again, I don't know, I don't know. We'll see. We will see. But he seems interested, and it seems to be some kind of interest in this book, and I'm really happy about that. So I would love to do that. Mike Hunt says, turns out you don't need to hijack planes. Apparently you just need to give lighters to homeless people. Right. Yeah, look, man, our government, there's some evil scumbags in there, yes. But the idea that they're behind planes, flying planes into towers, people flying planes to towers, that takes madmen, that takes people who aren't interested in power on earth, like our government is. They want power. They want it now. A lot of them they don't give a damn about the afterlife. They don't even think about it. They don't even believe in it. But they want power now. This enemy wants power forever. In their mind, it's everlasting. Once they go fly that plane into the tower, they live, forever. That's their idea. That's one element that Pigman, that Super Jihad tries to recruit Pigman back into the fold and back into Islam. He tries to say that, like, life ends, Frank, but death lasts forever, but only if you're a believer. That's the idea. And he thinks that with those words, you can maybe get Frank to reconsider. If you haven't read issue 3, check it out. Or, well, they're not available. They're only available digitally right now. Anyone who's here who would like to just read, to be a reader, because again, most comics I read these days, I'll just get them digitally because I'm a reader. But the hardcovers, I want the omnibuses, I want the beautiful hardcovers that I have. Yes, for that. But for reading, I don't care. I just want to read it, so I want to get it quick. If it's available, digitally, I'll get it digitally. By the way, I was also able to get a number of the back issues of John's work, Shane's, Graham's, Aaron's. So they'll be coming this week, which I'm very excited about. So awesome. I got a number of the CG, but these guys, I want to get those books because they stood out to me. SXS says clever detail about maybe, I think, what's his name? Kripnik Schwagul with the ass kissing in his hair. John Porton can't spell crap without rap either, that's for sure. Ugh, rap music. Oof. Can't stand it. Mike Hunt says black and white comics are an art in themselves. I prefer bone in black and white. That's a thing. I do prefer bone in color, and the colors were well done, and they weren't noisy. They weren't too in your face. Just enough, just enough where it's like, okay, because it's to me it's a colorful story. It's a very lively story, so I think it was a nice touch to have the color. But each their own in that. Mike Hunt can't spell therapist without the rapist. As a therapist, I resemble that remark. Hilarious. SXS said that, and also says looks good, but I think black and white's better, has more style. Yeah, I mean, for this particular story, I think it worked. And for the Pigman story, I think color was necessary. I want a little more, how could I put it, lifelike. I want to have that blood. I mean, literally. Just one thing also, when he slaps Osama bin Laden, and he has a lumpy, bald head. That's a nice little touch to just slap the bastard a little, demean them a little. Why not, in visual form? Emerald Fat 40 Ounce says, it looks good, but the it feels different, doesn't have the nightclub mood. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Let me know. Just saying, says black and white is better, but that art still looks pretty rad to me. Thank you. I appreciate it. Lux says, I bet John would love to. Hey, Art. Art says, Hail Bosch, USA, Pigman drawn by John would look fierce. It would. I mean, believe me, it would. SXS says, definitely go on Kang. John seems like a fan of your stuff. I definitely will. I just couldn't make it last night. It sucked. And he had, I don't think he has it all the time after Kings, but when he does, I'll try to get on. Sometimes he puts the link in the King's chat, so in the King's message on X, so we'll see. SXS says, I'm not going to read Pigman until I get it in hand, wouldn't want to spoil it. Awesome. Yes, that's the way to do it also. I'm just showing a few things here. I don't think I gave up too much. No, unless you want to be completely, then leave. I just want to show a little of my interior art. SXS says, the little prestige rate they've got is phenomenal. Excellent. Excellent. It's great to hear. Looks good. Love werewolves. I saw that phenomenal werewolf that he drew on the cover of issue 1. So I got that. I'll be getting the second one, and then I'll just... did I back him for the current one? Maybe. Or I just want to check out one first and then go from there. Grogu. Hail Grogu. Jimmy the Lumberjack says, timing on the color Timing on the color TF1 definitely should be after Pigman. Just my thought. Yeah. For sure. If I ever do it, Jimmy, I might not ever do it. I had in my head 20th anniversary. What am I going to do for this? It's an important thing for me. It's a milestone. I've been writing, drawing comics for many years, and it's pretty damn cool. I thought a color version, but I don't know. I don't know if it'll work as color, because I use the black and the gray as color in a lot of ways. I mean, it's packed with, look at this. It fills up everything. I don't know what color would do. I just had this in my head as just an alternate universe type thing. What if it was in color type thing? It's fun. The gray wash, love it. I love the sound effects also. Boom. I was just making sounds, and that's how they were coming out, like punches. I do with like letters. That's how it sounds to me. So I thought I've not seen that comic books before, just pow and stuff, but that's not a real sound. I tried to make really the phonetic sounds, like something that would actually come off like it's actually being read that way. Grogu says Pigman drawn by John would be wild. It would. He did mention it, and he was being a little humble about it. I don't think it should be. He goes, well, I think I want to draw Pigman, but maybe send it to Bosch. He goes, Bosch might not even want that. Please, man. I love seeing people interpret Pigman. It's always different, always individual. Every artist who has drawn Pigman sent me it. They all make their own type, their own version, which I love. Some gave him a 6-pack, which it doesn't have, which is cool. Some give making him really big. I mean, like big, fat. It's awesome to see, because they're bringing their individuality to it. And I don't like to dictate. Oh no, you didn't draw him right. Absolutely not. That's their drawing. He's my character, but that's their drawing. They have the right to draw however they want, which is awesome. Mike Hunt says, as an Australian, I want to know if Trump dancing the YMCA with the village people typical right-wing behavior in the USA? No. But Trump is, he's one of a kind. He's not, he was never a Republican, really. He was more or less a Democrat, a New York Democrat is what he was. And I think just got fed up with all their shit. Grogu says, post-Kangs, yeah, get in there, Bosch, yeah. I definitely will. I couldn't get on last night. I had to work on something until late. But next time, yeah. Art says, Wright knows how to have fun, Mike. Hail Grogu, yeah. Yeah. Jimmy says, cool when the gang was unavailable. Huh. Mike Hunt says, maybe I don't know what right wing is. It meant something different in the 90s. I guess so. I mean, one thing that bugs me, this quote-unquote woke right being spread as if they're trying to make it a thing, from James Lindsay and Konstantin Kisin, who are, the limpest guys on the right, and they're only there because they've been rejected by the left. They would be happy being with left if left didn't reject them. So they're the limpest guys on the right and trying to say whenever the right doesn't jump through hoops that they want them to, oh, you're just woke right. It's like, that doesn't make sense. It's just bullshit. They're trying to make it a thing. It's not a thing. It's not. To call woke right wokeism is leftism. To say woke right, say left right. That's what they're saying. It's very stupid, very desperate. Also, Art says, Bosch, have you read Ghost of the Badlands? Is that Razorfist's book? Incredible in black and white, but the later color version looks great. Comparing between the two might give you ideas. Okay, good. I will keep it in mind. Stormtrooper Julian Caesars, how about plop? For what sound? For what? Skull, Trevor. Glad to have you here, Trevor. Ha! Jimmy Lumberjack says, how about pull up? Let's do confrontation. Hilarious. Very funny. That recent video by Ripoff Verse. Hilarious. Very, very funny. Mike to Art says, I don't care what EVS says about George Axelopoulos. That dude can draw, man. I think I remember that George guy. Okay, the guy who did, I believe, the guy who did Ghost of Badlands for Razor Fist. I think that's what he's referring to. Facts. Jimmy Lumchak says, I can simply say a Democrat from the 80s, 90s is totally different from a Democrat today. Yeah. Look, Democrats have always been corrupt. They've always been the party who fought for slavery. They were the party of the KKK, but they were still members in it who were Americans. They were still looking to defend us and protect us, and but the party itself has always been corrupt to some extent or other. It's just that now they went as far as they could when they had full power. They went to mad places and they alerted people to say, wait a minute, this party is fucked. This party is anti-American. This party, and that's the problem with them also, them and the leftist media, is that when you lose credibility, you lose it forever. And for them, they never lost credibility. They lost the veneer of credibility. They lost this fake idea that they were credible, that they were ever credible. They never were. Peter Jennings and all these rats, leftist whores, completely communists. They never had credibility, but people assumed that they did. Like Walter Cronkite, oh, he's a great truth teller. Please, a piece of shit leftist. So now they're stuck with trying to create this media storm that Elon is a Nazi because he said, my heart goes out to you. Elon's a sloppy guy sometimes. He is. He's not... doesn't have great coordination. He doesn't have great presence when he goes out there and dances and jumps around. But he's clearly not doing a Nazi salute to me. He's not. Stupid. Okay, yeah. So that is Razors. Okay, Grogu. Just confirm. I believe it was. I just wanted to. Someone responded to Mike Hunt about. Okay, I thought it was. Mike Hunt says, I thought I was a lefty, but the left went so far left I'm basically Hitler. Well, okay, that's another thing, Mike. If you call yourself, if that's a thing also, it's a problem because people say, oh, the more right you go, the more Hitler. That's bullshit. Hitler was a leftist, totalitarian, socialist, literally, national socialist. And I know even idiots on the right try to say, oh, no, he's not left. He is. It's in the goddamn name. It's as simple as that. You don't call yourself that if you're not that. And then this idea where they say, well, he hated socialists. No. He hated those who got in the way of his version of socialism because he had a little more racist version of socialism. Now, all socialists are racist. They all hate Jews. Communists hate Jews. The founder of Marxism, communism was born a Jew and hated it, and therefore that's part of the DNA of the religion. And it is a religion. It is a religion. It's not just an ideology. These guys are true believers. Really, as dangerous as Muslims, except for the fact that they won't take themselves out the way Muslims do because they don't have a paradise to get to. They want hell on earth, and they want it now. That's what they want. But the idea. That's why, Mike. I got this one poster called Commie Nazis, and it's a half of Stalin and half of Hitler. And the only difference between those two guys is that Hitler's mustache was shorter, Stalin's mustache was longer. They're socialists, as was Mussolini. There's nothing right wing about that. The more right, the more freedom, the less controls. The more left, whether it's secular or religious, is totalitarianism. That's a whole different argument, but I will have this argument till the end of time. Clearly, I've been writing about it, making cartoons about it. I got this one cartoon, a fascist, a leftist punching a fascist, and I have a guy punch himself. Leftist punching a Nazi. I have a leftist punching himself. There's a reason why. But let's see a few more. I'm going to get going, guys. I just want to show a little of my interior art, which some of you have not seen. And again, I'm now out of print of Table for One, Pigman Comics, Peaceful Death Threats #2, Islam Bitches. Those are now out of print. Unless there's great demand, I'm going to keep them out of print. Dr. Ben says the feminine right might be a better description for them than woke right. Sure, the weak right, the woke right, it's just stupid. Again, it's idiots coming from the liberal left who now are stuck on the right, and they're being frustrated because they're like, I don't like these guys, but God damn it, the left reject me, so I'll try to turn them left. That's what they want. That's what Lindsay wants, and that's what Constantine wants. They want to move us to the left a little. It's like, no. You guys, you're your own thing. Don't try to move us, okay? Don't. And they always get in these stupid fights with people because they're in an unnatural state. They want to have both ways. They want to be left or right. No. Art says, Mike, I think the American left got way too uptight while the right loosened up, led to the right being more open while the left became more insular and intolerant. Definitely different than the 90s, yeah. Also, this one idea, and I can't stand it, that piece of shit Bill Maher when he says, yeah, we were all for free speech. Remember the free speech movement? Remember in Berkeley? This old guy, right? He's in his 70s now. He's trying to say that there was a free speech movement. Dummy. If there was a free speech movement on the left, it couldn't have been just in one moment in time 60, 70 years ago. And that's it. And that's what he's calling back to. He's not saying they've always been for free speech and they're for free speech. He goes, yeah, remember Berkeley? He has to go there. Think about that. Think about what he's saying. He's admitting that, first of all, it wasn't a free speech movement in the 60s even. They were violent in those protests. They were anti-free speech. They were pro-violence. So, but even this idiot who proclaims the left was for free speech before has to go 60 years in the past at least to try to say that one moment we were for free speech. No. Now there are, ideologies are what they are. Individuals are a different thing. They can be. It's like that's why there are a lot of Muslims who are not terrorists because they're human beings first, and also they don't know about the ideology. They don't follow it. It's the true believers and the ideology. That's the problem. Leftism also, it's the ideology. That's the problem. You might have the guys like Konstantin Kisin and James Lindsay who lean left. They want to pretend that they're on the right. They're not. I mean, they're not. But that's their home now. They're stuck with it and they resent it. Believe me, you can. They're oozing with resentment the fact that they're stuck here on the non-left and like fuck. Well, I'm going to try to make the right left now. No, it's not going to happen, dummies. You're weak. Trying to make us weak. Those on the right. And when I speak the right, again, it's the left is totalitarianism. The right is more freedom, less controls. Mike says to Art Haida, he goes, same thing happened in Australia. They still haven't put the Captain Cook statue that was cut down last Australia Day. Mike says Captain Cook is our Columbus. SXS says leftism is globalist communism now. They left the working class out to dry. Yeah, and that was always a pretense also. They don't give a shit about the working class. Look at the communists who take control. What are they? They're dictators. They want to dictate everything. The pretense is that they're for the working man. That's absolute bullshit. And unfortunately, those who are under the power believe it and propagate that bullshit. It's unfortunate. They still think, yeah, we got to go back to real leftism. Real leftism is totalitarianism. Mike Hunt says Captain Kirk is based on him, on Captain Cook. Is that right? Art Haida says Ethan admits George can draw well. His issues are with him personally. Yeah, I think Ethan admitted he liked the way it looked, if I recall, on one stream. Artists and infighting are like Muslims and jihad. Hilarious. Mike Hunt says Picard is based on Horatio Hornblower. Grogu says I've got to pick up Trudeau basically doing the salute because he was waving at someone in his party. So yeah, there are many leftists out there. And again, if you're going to talk about anything, talk about the left doing that. I mean, they've been trying to disassociate themselves from Hitler since World War II. They know it's bad for their brand. They're like, shit. We can live with Stalin and him killing millions. We can live with Mao Zedong, right? And he kill it, but we can't live with this. Like, we can't have the stench of racism. You guys are racist. You've always been racist. You fought for slavery. You were the KKK. You were for all these anti-black laws. You were all for that. The only reason why you got into the civil rights movement is because you figured, oh shit, we can get the black vote. Okay. Because Republicans were all for that. Republicans fought against slavery. They were against all these rats. And the left was racist then. They were pro-white, anti-black, and now they're quote-unquote pro-black, meaning they're still racist, but they're also, well, we'll be pro-whatever. Let's just switch it up now. Let's be pro-black, anti-white, just for the vote. That's the same thing they did back then. It was more, in their mind, like, well, what was more white, so we'll have that. Since when the black vote got to be a little legitimate, they're like, okay, we can have this veneer that we're for the people, for blacks, and get their vote. And treat them like shit, and make these ghettos across the country. and make sure that they can't get better. Mike Hunt says, Hitler was so charming, and guess who's back? They had to add a scene of him killing a dog. I don't know what that means. Grogu, two sides of the same coin. Not exactly sure what you're referring to. Mike says, Hitler used to have a giant mustache, but was ordered to cut it short in World War II so he could fit his gas mask. Funny. SXS says, thanks for hanging with us. Thank you, SXS. Appreciate it. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out here. I do appreciate it. I don't know how these streams are going to go sometimes. Sometimes they end very short. I just wanted to show off a little of my interior art. And again, if you haven't seen this, here's one of the covers that I'm doing. Here's the pencils for one of the covers. Pigman going off on jihadists. Cracking them bones. Breaking them. Wildly. I like the way his face came out. A little different than some of the other comics. A little more extreme, which I like. These guys, one guy is there playing dead. You know, he's like, he won't try to kill me, right? If I'm dead. Mike says, I'm uncomfortable with how much I know about Hitler. Well, you know, same thing here in terms of Islam. It's like, I learned far more than I ever wanted to, but I needed to. That's why I resent Frank Miller for not busting his ass and doing research for Holy Terror. It's like, you're going to take this on, you better know your shit, because your story will suffer for it. And it did. It's a forgettable work. Holy Terror has some moments, some interesting ideas he had in there, but overall, it's a failure. I mean, sucks, flat out. I haven't reread it. The only time I read it for years was a few months ago when I did a review of it, a look through at least, on my channel. And if you haven't subscribe to my channel on YouTube, guys, I would appreciate it. Please, thank you. Like this also. More likes, more engagement. Thank you, guys. Grogu, they are flaccid, right? Yeah, I can get behind that, because they are. The problem I have with many on the right is they fancy themselves as the good guys, but they're not good enough to condemn the bad guys by name. They're not good enough to call leftists communists. Not good enough to call evil, and then to deal with it. They're just not. You gotta be morally ruthless. These guys aren't. They're nice guys who want to be liked. That's disaster when you're facing a fire-breathing enemy like the left, who wants to destroy the country. This idea also, someone tried to warn us yesterday, hey, the left, no, don't be, look, they're gonna come after us. They've been plotting for us for decades. We know this. They're rats. They're scum. We know this. This idea that we're being taught, at least me. I mean, I don't know. Maybe some people are playing dumb, but we'll see. Art says, yeah, Grogu, their short stash was common amongst soldiers until everyone started associating it with a certain Austrian. Mike Hunt says, Tojo has a toothbrush mustache. Yeah. Or did he? That's neat. I also give Super Jihad Hitler mustache. It's not here. He doesn't show up here yet. I give him a Hitler mustache along with his beard. Google AI confirmed Mike's mustache comment. Hitler actually had 3 balls instead of 1. I think you do know too much, Mike. If Hitler was born today, his OnlyFans would be world famous. LMAO. Amoral Fat 40 ounce. Hunt Search Labs AI overview. No, Adolf Hitler had 1 undescended testicle, not 3. This condition is called right side cryptokidism. Kidism. I can read a few more, guys, and I got to get going. Art Haida says they also came up with a great switch to dissociate with the Klan. Yes, party switch, of course. I mean, it's comical to me that people still fall for it, and people on the right even are like, no, Hitler, he hated socialists. Again, I'm at the point where, again, whenever I get frustrated, I just like, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to keep having to regurgitate this, I will have to, clearly. You look at, whenever someone says to you, this is a good point here, I think, at least I make it enough, where, socialists, communists and socialists, and they hated Nazis, right? They hated them, they kill each other. National Socialists, all the other socialist communists, same shit. And they kill each other. They do, yes. Not because they hate each other, because they're like, hey, my shit's the real stuff. You know, Hitler fancied himself as the true socialist, you know? Just like the Sunni Muslims and Shiite Muslims. They're both Muslims. They both follow Allah and Muhammad and all these bullshit, right? They hate each other because they believe that they're the real deal, and they literally kill each other. They go to war with each other. They kill each other. So this idea that, you know, he hates them. Yeah. Just like the Muslims hate each other and they kill each other. You know, so anyway. Amoral Fat 40 ounce. I love that. I love the art. Maybe referring to, I'm not sure. Oh, the cover? If you are, cool. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Grogu, maybe about that as well. Nice. Art says nice. Action shot for that cover. Yeah. Thanks, Jimmy Lumberjack. Appreciate it. Again, let me show you guys again. Just, you know, I like the way it came out. And again, I went through so many different designs, and I said, okay, I want one real action cover of Pigman going off and breaking these guys, breaking the life out of them. And then another more, and then just one of, I think, Pigman in the war paint one where he has jihadist blood all over his mask. And then the image of the twin brothers arguing, and against the wall, it's the I guess their shadows end up being Pigman and Super Jihad. The two stories in there. I also thought about one where the hand of Killian is drawing Pigman, and someone suggested here as well that maybe one of them should be of Pigman punching Muhammad on the cover. We'll see. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. Jimmy Lumberjack says, sweet cover, you'll love it. Thank you. Mike says, Bruce Lee had the same condition about the ball. Is that true? SXS says, Pigman gives me Miller Dark Knight Returns vibes. 100%. Hey, without Dark Knight Returns, I don't think I would be a cartoonist. I think that's what really, it's like, holy shit, this guy took this iconic character. He wrote and penciled this great story, and it's a legendary story at this point. I mean, I just love it. You look at Pigman, there's elements of Miller's Dark Knight. Big. Now, the little difference is that he has a different color looking suit. He's a big guy, but he also has a gut. You know, my Pigman has a gut. Yeah, look at him there. Yeah, he's got a gut. He's bigger than Batman. He's 6'5", 300 pounds. But, and also the pigskin leather. If you don't know, he wears pigskin leather mask, gloves, belt, and boots. And he makes it clear to everyone, to the jihadists, that it's made of pigskin leather to exploit the Islamic enemy's bigotry. And it works. Some of them kill themselves before coming in contact with him. When they hear he's coming, they slit their throats, they shoot themselves. I have some funny stuff in there also, which what they're willing to do, willing to kill themselves. He calls it suicidal bigotry, only in Islam. Yeah. Let me show you this once. One second, guys. I want to show you this one moment also. And I just want to let you guys know. Also that I have 4 copies left of The Infidel featuring Pigman #2. I had that's the only ones that I had extra copies of. If anyone's interested, it won't be part of any collection. I don't have issue 1 and 3 anymore. I have this one copy for someone who ordered a while back, so they're gonna get issue 1 and 2 and then get the digital 3 just to read it. But I have 4 copies of this one. And if you don't know, this cover is issue 2, so I focus on the idea of 2, of dualism, right? Infidel featuring Pigman 2. The 2-headed eagle, the Albanian flag, the twin brothers, and if you look close, the twin towers is around the heads of the eagles. And then you got the Pigman and Super Jihad within the faces of the shadows of the main brothers. The conflict within, so it's 2 stories within. 2-headed eagle, Pigman, Infidel #2, twin brothers, you know, twin towers, twin brothers, twin eagle head. So that was just something that I was thinking there. This is I think they got this wrong actually. This was supposed to be the inside front cover, but it's fine. I mean, it happens. I had Pigman in some way. He goes, you can't draw me. He goes, that's why I draw you. It's funny. I just want to show you this one part where there's an action scene where Pigman, issue 1 literally had a cliffhanger, a literal cliffhanger, as you can see. So this is where it picks up. And he has these jihadists screaming their heads off, Allahu Akbar, Allah, and they're all strapped to blow. Pigman turns around, jumps off the cliff, and they jump with him. And he says, madmen. He goes, madmen. He takes out his pig gun. He goes, madmen. He goes, misogynists dying and killing for 72 quote-unquote women. Only in Islam. It's fun. It's fun stuff like that. And then he gets into this action scene here also, which is really, really fun. So yeah, I'm gonna revisit it, take a look at it, and see what can I do, how can I punch it up, what can I do to make it better, and I'll spend a little time with that while it's live, the launch. It'll be better. Let's just say that. Whoever got issue 1, 2, and 3, if you want to back it, great. And if you do, you will get. You can go look at the difference between the issues that you have and the new ones. So that's one value of that also. Definitely, yeah. SXS, big influence. Miller, big influence. 1 second, guys. Guess Who's Back is a movie where Hitler time travels to modern day Germany and takes it over with social media. It's very funny. Okay, Guess Who's Back. That sounds pretty funny. Grogu said the right doesn't have to go 10,000% overboard just to be honest and keep it real. Yeah, that's it. I mean, that really is it. You know? Be honest. You don't have to go, quote unquote, far right. It's like only far leftists say that. Only leftists say that. Far right. As in far from us. That's what they're saying about the far right. They're trying to make this boogeyman. And again, the left, again, those quickest to call others racist, what are they? Those quickest to call others Nazi, what are they? Come on, guys. I mean, that alone should be the simple truth there. Kruger says you have a very unique perspective and life experience. Nothing wrong with talking about it or how it makes you think. Not sure, are you referring to me or... Sorry, Grogu, lost a little track here. Mike Hunt says, most people don't want to be unplugged and prefer to see the world through, not a subjective lens, but a pre-programmed one. I didn't know arguing is ever worth it. I didn't know arguing. Sorry, guys, maybe I'm lost here. Maybe you guys are having your own debate here. Possibly. Philosophies, Mike says, philosophies first, all else follows. No philosophy, the fate of your soul is left to chance. I'm not sure. Grogu, I'm bad with names, but Majid Nawaz was on his way to becoming a terrorist. He got free and became a journalist. We need people who stick to their guns. Yeah, I don't like Majid Nawaz. I don't. He's a communist Muslim. He really is. I don't trust him. I think he lies to people. I think he tells them what they want to hear. He also says something. What does he say about ISIS? Right? Oh no! Muhammad would have fought them. It's like that right there is a dangerous liar. He would have led them. He would have united all these 140 terrorist groups and led them. So that's a lie. I don't trust him at all. And now if you see him, he looks more Muslim than ever with his Muslim beard. It doesn't look like anything he looked like before. He has the no mustache, long Muslim beard now. He's out there yapping away, trying to be everything to everyone. Left, Muslim. Don't trust him at all. He's really found a nice grift there. And he's the guy who flipped Ayaan Hirsi Ali and Sam Harris, who he saw the Achilles heel in. He didn't go after Robert Spencer or me or others who know their shit. He went after those who he knew he could flip, the weak ones, right? So Ayaan Hirsi Ali was an ex-Muslim, as passionate, as true-telling as can be, right? All of a sudden he starts saying Islamic totalitarianism, radical Islam, Islamism. I was like, what the fuck's happened? She got in bed with Maajid Nawaz. Sam Harris called Islam the mother load of bad ideas. He called Islam evil. All of a sudden, he starts talking that bullshit about radical Islam and stuff. I'm like, what happened? He got in bed with Maajid Nawaz. Don't trust that guy. His whole purpose, people claim that he wants to moderate Islam. No. He wants to moderate truth tellers about Islam. He wants to moderate them to become truth tellers of Islamism and Islamic totalitarianism, all that bullshit. So don't trust him at all. We need people to stick to the guns. Grogu, he's got that dad bod. Are you talking about Maajid Nawaz? That's funny if so. Hey, Al. Showing up at the end. Hope all is well. All is well, thank you. Mike says, if Killian is caught without his super suit, have him wrap his fist with bacon. That's right. That's right. That's a good way to do it, right? Just use bacon. And that's actually Frank. It's Frank Warner who ends up being Pigman. That's the character that Killian creates within the story. It's maybe confusing if I'm just explaining it, but once you read it, I think you'll get the idea. The story's about twin brothers, and one, is born again Muslim, one's a recovered Muslim. The recovered Muslim creates Pigman, and that's where their war begins. And then, Super Jihad and Pigman and Super Jihad reflect, they echo the brothers' battle. Amoral Fat 40 ounce, I'll back multiple copies. Very, very kind, man. Thank you. I will have a few different covers. And again, I'm figuring all this out. I'm trying to pay attention as much as I can to the Kings and what they do for their campaigns and see what works, what could work for me, maybe not. Art says, you said recoloring? Maybe. But I don't know. I mean, I like the way it looks. I might be able to improve some stuff, maybe. I might reletter to keep it consistent. I might do that, but I did like the way it came out. I gotta say, I think it's readable. I don't know. We'll see. We will see. You said relettering, yeah. Grogu said, what even is far right? Yeah, that's the thing. It's again, only a leftist says that because they're quote unquote far left. So anything to the right of them is far right. You are not us, is what they're saying. Yeah. You were saying, Grogu says, you were saying you need to repeat yourself about communism, socialism, national socialism. Yeah. But the point is that I still get, right-wingers to this day, and there was one guy who was a fan of mine and bought a lot of my stuff and all of a sudden stopped cold and said, hey man, that's not true. Hitler was a right-wing, he was a conservative. It's like, no, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. It's like, why so angry about it also? If it's not, if what I'm saying is not true, why so angry about it? Why? So I get it every so often. Grogu says, yeah, I'm not a fan of Maajid 100%, but he did wake people up to Islam. Well, yeah, by himself, right? By saying that he could have went jihad, and he's honest to an extent. But to this day, if you notice, he will not condemn Islam as evil. Maybe he changed. You tell me. I don't think so. Why? He's still Muslim. He doesn't condemn Islam. He condemns Islamism, extreme versions. That's a lie. It's a lie that Muslims tell. Always. He fancies himself an elitist form, I guess, of Islam, right? But he will not condemn the religion by name. He will condemn elements, perverted versions of it. Absolute bullshit. John says, sorry. I don't want to use the last name. Sorry, guys. John. Except for Mike Hunt. That's on purpose. Make sure you ask Ethan, Shane, and John to help you launch the Pigman campaign. I will, when it goes live, I will ask in the King's room, and I'll see. I don't know if I could push it on my own at this point, at least. I don't know. I do need their backup, and I would appreciate it. We will see. Grogu says, I see. Maybe about Maajid Nawaz. Mike says, I think left and right are marketing terms. Most people don't use objective definitions of left and right. People who are politically minded do see they're conscious of where they are politically. A lot of people aren't, they aren't. They attribute false things to each side, but then again, the left, you can attribute all the bad shit to the left because it is all the bad shit. And again, Islam is on the left. Again, guys, the political perspective, the more left, the more totalitarian. Sharia law is on the left, it's not on the right. It's not freedom. Muslims will lie and say, oh, it gives women more freedom. They actually say that. I mean, they actually say that. Mike says, you say right winger, it means Hitler to one guy. Normally family, no, that's the lie. That's not a natural and innocent thing to say that Hitler's on the right. That's a lie that the left has been pushing for 70 years. A lie. They have to it's a hot potato for them. Like, oh shit, we can't have that guy with us. Even though he said National Socialist, we don't call him Nazi. Notice this also, guys. The left does not call, Hitler by his actual ideology. They don't call him a National Socialist. They don't call his ideology National Socialism. They don't call it that. They call it Nazism. They call it by the nickname that they gave him. It's an insult to call him Nazi. And they also, but it's not just for that sake. They want to disassociate themselves, so they never call him National Socialist. Notice that. Okay, that's not an innocent thing. That's on purpose. Grogu says, thanks, Bosch. Not sure for what, but thanks, Beener, Grogu. Mike says, so there are 3 layers, Bosch, Frank, and then Killian. Yes. Yeah, I mean, Bosch, Frank, and then Killian. I guess, yeah. I mean, there's elements of Frank, me to Frank, me to Killian, sure. And even Salam. I mean, Salam is my nightmare self. He's, what if I, submitted to Islam fully, became a born-again Muslim post 9/11? That's the nightmare there. He represents that. Mike says, Fosh, Boston, the Bazaar, Bosch, Boston. That's right. That's the Salam Dukai. Salam Dukai. There were some brothers in New Jersey who wanted to go into Fort Dix, I think. They wanted to kill our soldiers at Fort Dix. And they stupidly put them talking about it on a VHS box, and they tried to send it to someone to get fixed, and someone heard that, and cops came. They arrested them. They were wannabe jihadists. So that name stuck with me. It's an Albanian name. They were Albanians from New Jersey, and I said, okay, Dukai. So let me have a little change of name, Killian Duke, where Salam keeps it Dukai. John says, ask them before you launch, give them a chance to help you start off right if they want to. Yeah, I definitely will. No doubt about it. I'm not, I'm not shy when it comes to asking for help like that. I just, hopefully they do, because I definitely need their help. It's my first launch. It's a big deal. I want it to really go well so I can go and continue the series. That's what I really want. This story it's a long time coming, and I just want to get it right and make sure as many readers as can be will read it. I think I have a little wind behind my back right now, so it's awesome. Grogu says, now that you say it in that way, you're right. It's all in the way that he portrays Islam or using language to avoid calling Islam evil. Yeah, Grogu. I don't trust him, never have. I went at it with him also. I called him out about the idea that he said Muhammad would fight ISIS. I mean, what a naked lie. It's disgusting. Immoral Fat 49 says, I see these impromptu as a radio show. These streams play well even with the radio off. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I enjoy it, guys. And again, I tend to go to the same things. I mean, if you guys get bored about it, from me, I get it. I got my story, Pigman. I got my, my likes, interests. I got the ideology of Islam and leftism, and taking them both. I mean, and it's in one way. Think about this also. My parents came from a Muslim country, Albania, right? And then the communists took over, and they had to deal with that. They were getting it on both sides. In a way, I've been fighting both of these things ever since I can remember. My parents had to escape communism, but they retained their idea that they were Muslim, even though they were not really practicing Muslims. They did hate Jews, I will say that. And they treated women like shit, absolutely, and they didn't eat pork. And they didn't like America and the West and all that. Yeah, I mean, looking back, some of it was even worse than I remember, to be honest, but they were passive to an extent. But as I say, even passive Muslims are hardcore misogynists and hardcore Jew haters. Absolutely. Even passive ones. Grogu, he's honest to a point, in terms of Majinwaz. That's why he ropes people in. He says some things that he knows I can get them in, and then he'll pull up the big fat lies. Art says, I too condemn elements of Islam, all the elements that make it up. Yeah, every single last one. Again, when I say that the Islamic world is a world with about, I hate the term Islamic world also. It gives it some kind of alien, no, it's just a hellish world. But The Islamic world, since we're stuck with that name for now, the Islamic world is a world where the bad guy won. That's what happened to it. It's a hellish place. It's a hellhole. You know, Pigman, the radio host on Pigman number 3 calls it Hellholistan. You know, Mike, German Workers' Party, yeah, the German Socialist Workers' Party, yeah. But don't forget the word socialist; it's in there, and the left has been trying to pluck that out ever since. No dice. You're stuck with it, rats. He's yours. He's yours. Grogu says, "Thank you for telling me about Majid. I just randomly thought of him." Yeah, I had my run-in with him, you know, head on Twitter years ago, before it was X. I never trusted him, and once he flipped, you know, once he went after Ayaan Hirsi Ali and Sam Harris, I'm like, okay, this guy's going after the weakest of the bunch, because they're left-leaning liberals, you know, Ayaan Hirsi Ali. Ayaan Hirsi Ali for 20 years, right, speaking out against Islam, and then she starts speaking about against radical Islam. I said, what the hell is this? And she was asked about it. She goes, I grew up. No, you sold out. You sold out. You didn't grow up. And then all of a sudden, she's a Christian now, after she was an atheist for 20 years. I don't know. Respect her for what she did and the danger she put herself in for it. I do. I read her books, but lost respect for her. I really have. I don't buy the fact that an atheist ex-Muslim could become a Christian like that. I just don't. I don't buy it. She's in her 50s now, I believe. Grogu says Pigman launch is a big deal, not a big deal. Indeed it is. Mrs. Carruthers, is that? It sounds like an old TV show mother's name. I appreciate you and admire your ethic in presenting an authentic and valuable experience story. Bosh, thank you. That's very kind. I appreciate that. Thank you. Grogu says, wow, about Pigman, maybe something. Mike says, the problem is that interesting people talk about controversial things and get banned. And all that's left is vanilla stuff like Mr. Beast and PewDiePie. Yeah, that's unfortunate. So I'm probably on a watch list because I like listening to interesting people. Hey man, I think anyone worth anything is on a watch list. I think anyone worth anything is on a watch list. Okay. Grogu says, I gotta read a few more guys and I do gotta go. Grogu says, what the heck? I had no idea about him doing that to Ayaan, if that's how her name is spelled. Yeah, Ayaan Hirsi Ali. She willingly went, so it's not all him, but he smelled blood. He's like, okay, I got these two influential people. They're critics of Islam. I want to soften up. I call myself moderate Islam, and I want to reform Islam, right? That's that's a shtick. At least it was. Oh, I'm a reformer of Islam. What does he do? Does he reform Islam? Does he try to create amongst Muslims? No. He gets critics of Muslims and critics of Islam and tries to make them critics of Islamism. Radical Islam, Islamic totalitarianism, bullshit after bullshit after bullshit. He tries to turn actual Islam critics, stout Islam critics, into limp-wristed critics of radical Islam. And all those things do is they imply that there's a decent, normal version of Islam, and then there's a totalitarian version. Islam is inherently totalitarian. Islam is inherently political. You know, it's inherently violent, militant. There's not a militant Islam. Islam is militant. So yeah, she was a willing participant in that sellout. She was, and I've lost respect for her. And I had out with her as well a few times. Mike says Devon Stack is totally a racist. Objectively, he said he was, but I love his movie reviews. I don't know that name. You're from Australia, so maybe he might be there. Eric FS says, Mike, you might want to check the interview of Tyrone Robinson by Jordan Peterson. I love Tommy. I've corresponded with him. I drew him with having Hitler bow to him, which was funny. I sent it to him. I drew him a number of times. Good guy. Has even shared my stuff. Not crazy about Jordan Peterson. I don't trust him either. I don't know where the hell he is. He's always, at least I remember he's crying in interviews. I'm like, stop. Get a hold of yourself and then make yourself available to the public. Don't cry on the drop of a dime. Don't do that. Also, he got stupid about what was the Kavanaugh, the Supreme Court justice, right? He actually said, the weakling said, Jordan Peterson said, you know what, just don't worry about it. Just maybe withdraw your nomination, and just don't give him that win. I don't know. He wanted him to sell out. That was his dream, right, to become a Supreme Court justice. And anyway, that's a whole different story, a whole different stream. But Mike says, FS after stream, I'll put it on my playlist. I love Billy Robinson, no relation, greatest catch as catch can wrestler. Anyway, guys, thanks for being here. Appreciate it, guys. We did a little over an hour. Awesome. Very, very cool. I saw it was 176 people. Is that on spread between both? It's on my platform here. If so, that's awesome. It might be the best so far. Guys, you be good. Mike says Jordan Peterson is a watered down Joseph Campbell. Maybe. I couldn't stand when he just started crying. He was weak on a number of things, on communism, on Islam. He guy's all over the place. And his daughter's using woke right, which is, ugh. I mean, his daughter, Anyway, later, Art. Mrs. Carruthers. Heart to you as well. Guys, you take care. Be well. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. You guys be good. Enjoy your night. Take care.